Area 51. Do you think there's actual aliens and spaceships in the bunker down there?
I personally do. That is 50-50 out there amongst the UFO experts. But I do believe that if they're not there now, that there was something there before that dealt with all the secrecy. It also goes down so many stories and levels. There's so much more to that place than meets the eye. So that is definitely a compound. It is so highly protected. It's still in the game. But there's other places across the United States, different Air Force bases as well, that definitely are holding something.
Welcome back to the show. I'm Mike.
I'm Kenny.
And we have a super guest that we're excited about. Dr. Lisa Strickland is with us. Welcome.
Hi, great to be here.
She is an expert in all things alien. I guess would be an easy way to say that, extraterrestrial. And me and Kenneth are just going to sit back and we're going to learn tonight. So we might ask you some tough questions, but just to get started, who are you and where are you from?
Well, first of all, I'm just going to make a bunch of stuff up, so this should be fun.
Yeah.
I'm Lisa Puzo Strickland, and I'm from Los Angeles, where I spent some time in radio and the record business, and then I met my husband, and I moved out here to be with him, marry him, and now I live here. And about 10 years ago, I left the record business and began studying the science behind intuition and parapsychology, just because I had always been very intuitive. I had dreams that came true when I was younger, and lots of intuitive hits and precognition, they call it. And that was kind of tough because I was going to a Southern Baptist school in the heart of Los Angeles, where I wore skirts below my knees, even when we were cheerleading.
Yeah.
So imagine you've got your pastor every day in chapel at school telling you that, psychics are of the devil. And here I was going home at 14 or 15 years old having dreams that came true. So it was a little difficult. So finally, I was able to kind of resolve all of that when one day he went up on the pulpit and my pastor said, I had a dream last night about this, and God laid it on my heart about this, and I went, see, he's intuitive. I can be intuitive.
Yeah.
So that's how I resolved that. So finally, fast forward, went through radio for a few years, and then into the record business, got here to Nashville, left the industry, and then eventually went to school to get my PhD in parapsychology and philosophy. Partly to learn more of the science behind intuition, and partly to study UAP and talk about it and write about it and speak about it, because I just felt like it was such an important topic that's literally reality changing for humanity. And that's how I got here.
Well, that's great.
And I'm not very educated. I know what UFO is. What's UAP?
UFO, the new slogan for that is UAP, which means Unidentified Anomalous Phenomena. And the government changed it a little while ago, a few years back, basically to soften the palate a little bit, because when you say UFOs out there, people get a little wiggy. Boy. But what it does is it basically broadens the definition of what UFO is, and it broadens it out to the entire phenomena, meaning the entities, the craft, the paranormal aspects of it as well. And then that brings in not only more experts into the field, but also more funding, to be point blank about it. And then they don't necessarily call them aliens or extraterrestrials. Most of the time now they refer to them as NHI, or non-human intelligence.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's... Yeah. Sound a lot better than just alien.
Yeah, it does. But really, I mean, does it really matter what you call them? As long as we're talking about it, that's all we care about, right?
I mean, after the way I was raised, it's always going to be alien for me.
Yeah, you know what? Me too.
I mean, Men in Black. Come on now. Men in Black.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotcha. Yeah, but even today, a lot of times the experts will say aliens. Yeah, they still do. Little gray men. Squiggy things, whatever. Yeah.
Let me ask you this. So, when did you first pop in your head say, I believe in aliens?
Well, when I was living in LA, I was not that 25-year-old that was going on a lot of dates. I was the girl on Friday nights that was home watching X-Files. So I had a passion for this subject since I was a little girl. And when I lived in West Hills, California, which was on the very far west end of the San Fernando Valley, there were some really crazy sightings. There were groups that were burning fires up in the Chatsworth Hills that were devil worshippers. And then down in my area, there were lights that were in the sky, and some people thought it was Hughes Aircraft, which was a big base nearby, that were creating things that could fly. But a lot of people thought they were aliens. They thought they were UFOs. And, and then of course, you saw crazy people who dressed like John Travolta in Saturday Night Live. You saw all sorts of stuff out there, But I think that's where I first grabbed onto the idea that there was something more to this reality, that logically we cannot possibly be the only ones in the universe. And remember, I was still in that Baptist school, and I just never believed that humans were the best that God could do.
Right.
I guess, we steal people, we hurt people, I just thought, if our universe is so grand and so beautiful, then there's probably life teeming everywhere. So I think I've always had the passion to answer your question.
Wow. So how was I know you were in the Baptist school and you were also thinking about this stuff, but how did you correlate those two things? I mean, did you just in your mind just say, this is what I'm going to believe and I don't care what anybody else says, or how did that work in your mind at that time?
In those days in high school, I just kept those beliefs quiet.
Okay.
Both my intuitive ability and if I believed in anything else fringe. We lived in a house that was haunted. So I kind of had it all coming at me. The ranch house behind our house had a ghost that would just knock things over in the attic and make tremendous amounts of noise. In our house, whatever we had in our house they covered my baby cousin with a blanket.
Oh, wow.
They closed a window that actually closed sideways.
Oh, wow.
And we could sit in the living room and hear steps going up the stairs. So growing up with a ghost, seeing lights in the sky, having intuitive dreams, that was all my home reality. So I kept it very quiet when I was in school, and I heard a lot about the fact that demons will try to they'll deceive you.
Oh, for sure.
Right? Deception's a really big part of the Bible, and we do have to be careful of that. But I just realized that I just think there's so much more going on. And if we believe in spiritual beings, if we believe in angels and we believe in God, that is another realm. That is another realm of consciousness, of awareness, of reality that is just beyond our ability to see or perceive. So if there's that, then of course there can be other realms, and that's where I kind of try to lay some sense.
I got you. All right, so to kind of piggyback off what you were just talking about, me growing up, in the Baptist church, and then, went from Baptist to Spirit-filled and, living a crazy life and loving Jesus. I was always raised that aliens were linked to the demonic, okay? And I was always cautious about whether to believe in them or not, because I don't want to open that doorway, into my life or whatnot. So that's how I was raised to believe that stuff. What do you have to say about that?
Well, you have a point, because remember, this relates back to deception. And I was just speaking with a pastor who has a lovely church right in Fairview. And we spoke. He was in D.C. last night, and we talked about this very subject. And literally 24 hours ago. And he's very firmly of the belief that aliens are demonic. And basically my response is this. Many moons ago, when mankind first witnessed a solar eclipse, it was very, very frightening. So we put it in the framework of a warning to humanity that the gods were telling us we were doing something wrong because it was frightening and scary and they had never seen it before. Right. So at the time, those communities started, they would do sacrifices and things that we would never do, but they would do things in reaction because they put it in their belief framework, they put it in their religious framework at the time in order to explain what that was. So the brain does that. It defaults to, when it's fearful of something or it doesn't understand something through science, we always default to whatever framework that we have available to us.
Yeah, that's very true.
And that's very understandable, and I respect that. And then fast forward to the 15 B, I think it was 1500 BC, or maybe it was AD. No, 1500 BC, the Minoans, they were a seafaring community, and they were always on the ocean and on the ground, and they saw an entity that was unlike anything that they had ever seen. That was not human. It was not close to being human. It was not a fish from the ocean. It was not a plant. It wasn't a bird. So their reaction was different. They didn't put it in the fearful context, but they decided they were going to worship it. So in their mental framework, they did the opposite of fear, and they did, awe and wonder. But they worshipped it, and they put it on their pottery. We know that entity today to be the octopus.
Oh, wow.
So do you see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. That's crazy.
So as we go along, we're still a very young species. So our framework is naturally going to be towards our personal beliefs, our philosophies, our spirituality. But see, today we have science. And there was a time when we tried healing people with herbs, and then, women were burned at the stake. So then science came along and proved that those herbs actually do heal us. Right. So when you input personal testimony, you put in video recording, you put in crash retrieval materials, you have scientists working on this, academia working on this, some of the largest universities in the country working on this. Now we're seeing the science building, and you're also seeing credibility. Right. These are Navy men, who are on the ships and women, and they're seeing things go in and out of the ocean, which we should talk about.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that.
This is credible. These are credible people who are experts at being able to identify and witness. And now we have all of that. It's just a matter of time before the bulk of humanity will take this very unknown and confusing phenomena and be able to more comfortably bridge it from our belief systems into more of a scientific realm. So that's what I have to say, is continue being discerning, but be open.
So, and you may have just answered the next question, but do you believe, through your research and expertise, that aliens or whatever's out there, is it a good thing for humanity, or is it a bad thing, like all these movies that, is it the end of times? They're going to come and wipe us off the earth or the planet. I mean, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, growing up in a church, I heard about the end of time since I was 5 years old. Right. And the end of time, it was, it was going to happen in 1971, and then 74, and then 81. And, it's like we're constantly hearing about the end of times. So as far as that, no, I don't believe personally that these are a hallmark of the end of times. I think we're in the end of times, and it's just a lot longer than we think it is. So
for sure.
As far as whether they're good or bad, honestly, I think they're both.
Okay.
But what is good or bad? What are their ethics? So we see. Okay, so we're hearing about these abductions. I've never been abducted, so I cannot speak personally to that. But of the thousands and thousands of cases, you've got some people who have very scary experiences, which alludes to, are they here for the bad or good? Right. They are prodded, they are left with markings, and they're absolutely terrified. And then they have psychological problems for the rest of their life. And on top of that, they can't talk to anybody about it because maybe their family won't believe them, or they'll lose their jobs, right? Their credibility is shot, especially.
Because they're crazy.
Yeah. And, you know, the government is responsible for a lot of that in the military, you know, telling these pilots, no, you're crazy, you know, go get psychological therapy and come back in a month. But anyway, okay, so there's the bad side that we think is the bad side. All right. When you take a dog to the vet, the dog doesn't understand why the vet is giving them a shot. So they're terrified, not understanding the whole picture. So I can't really say what the whole picture is. I can't really say that they're here for positive reasons. But what I will tell you is that, as I had mentioned, the thousands and thousands and thousands of cases, there's like tens and thousands, that these are the three main things that we hear. We hear the witnesses say that they were collecting fauna and nature on their craft. So that means they're doing some sort of scientific research.
Okay.
We are not seeing any sort of harm come to any aircraft or any human being. No one's dying, right? No one's being shot out of the air. Right. They are encouraging humanity telepathically to get rid of our nuclear weapons. That means they don't want us to kill each other. And the last two messages are, be kind to each other and take better care of the earth. That doesn't sound like a demon to me.
Right.
You know, when I try to think logically, that just doesn't sound like they're necessarily here for evil. Right. But then again, I don't know about all the species and, you know, some of the other stories.
So you're saying that these are the messages? Are these coming from the witnesses?
The witnesses, they will telepathically communicate with them. The parapsychology is the study of the paranormal. Para meaning beyond normal, paranormal. And there are so many parapsychological elements to an abduction or pretty much most any UAP experience. So someone will speak telepathically with an entity, or even telepathically or consciously be able to guide or communicate with the craft itself. So, for instance, there's people who go out there and they do what are called these CE5 events, where they all gather around together and they consciously, quietly in their own minds, try to attract a craft or an orb, and then eventually this glowing orb will appear.
Oh, wow.
That happens a lot. That is a very common occurrence that has been scientifically and rigorously studied and recorded and documented and measured.
Wow.
And they will consciously communicate with these orbs, and then they may say, go right, and they go right, go up, they go up. It's really amazing. So there is that telepathic component to the experience.
Who are the people doing these studies?
Well, they started off with some of the smaller institutes, private institutes, HeartMath Institute. They did some more parapsychology, but there were some private enterprise. There was Skywatcher that was around for a while, and then there's some guys who just have a whole lot of money, like Bigelow at Skinwalker Ranch, and now owned by another gentleman. And you know, most of that money is private. But now, what's really cool is that the University of Albany is now developing their UAP center or organization. Stanford, Harvard, MIT, Yale.
The smart of the smart.
Yes. So these are universities that are all getting in on the game. Harvard especially, you've got Professor Dr. Avi Loeb, who's there with the Galileo Project. And so one might be more about science, studying, you know, the chemistry of something that was found. Another university might be more about the astrophysics of it. Another university might be more about the parapsychological aspect of it. Like Rice University, Center for the Impossible. They collect a lot of that.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. But to go back on what you were saying earlier, about before Christ,
Yeah.
like the pyramids.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oof.
And I know I love watching documentaries on them because there's always like the unknown, and we
Right.
don't know. Do you believe that we had help building those pyramids, or the people of that time, or do you think that was man-made?
Oh, I honestly don't know what I believe. The two camps are that we definitely had help, and that on the earth at that time were other entities from other realms, whatever that may be. Whether they were, how they talked about giants of the earth, right?
Yeah,
We learned that in the Bible. What were the giants of the earth? Were they early man? Or were they another faction of the human race that just went left and right? Or were they from another part of the solar system?
Right.
And we also know that the pyramids are a whole lot older than what most people think. I mean, they're 20, 30,000 years old. They're not 7,000 years old. They're so much older.
And they're still standing.
And they're still standing. Yeah. Wish we could build like that.
Yeah, we need to build stuff like that over here.
Yeah. Yeah. But, I think that we could have definitely had help. Or there's the other side of it, that the human race itself had an earlier incarnation where we were just so much more intelligent. We had fast forwarded and learned because of the collectivity that we had then. We worked together so much better then. And maybe that was it. And then once the flood happened and other catastrophes, try saying that 10 times. Yeah, once some of those happened, we lost a lot of that knowledge and those memories.
Now, do you believe in the Genesis 6 narrative?
Meaning,
about like the fallen angels and like talking about Bigfoot and the giants and all that being the fallen angels? Have you ever heard that?
I remember that. Okay, remind me of that again.
So, I told you last week before the show we had a Bigfoot guy come on the show, and that's the narrative they believe, or that he kind of pivots off of, is Genesis 6, where the angels that fell from heaven, the Nephilims, I think is what they call it.
Yeah.
But they had possibly mated with humans.
Right.
And then the giants, and then don't quote me on all of it, okay? But this is what he was talking about, and how that Bigfoot could be something to that nature.
Right.
They could be the Nephilims or what have you. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, there's the religious aspect where they literally fell from heaven.
Right.
Or was that man's way, a human's way at the time of trying to explain what they saw coming out of the sky? Were they something else coming from somewhere else?
Okay.
So I don't know the answer to that because
I don't either.
I don't know if we know enough. But I would lean less towards lean less towards the religious side and more towards the scientific side of what is actually possible. Because we do know that because of traversable wormholes, that you can travel great distances. So that is possible. And we also know that it's possible because of how old the Earth is, that there's, and the fact that we don't know 90% of our ocean, our own ocean. We don't know. I think it's more like 97% actually. That there could logically be something under there as well. So I do lean more towards that, even though I am very firm in my belief of God.
Right.
And I just don't know what God is, but I know God's a lot more grand than we could ever possibly conceive.
Sure. Yeah, and I don't think we'll ever have the exact answers. I mean, not while I'm alive. I mean, that could be.
I hope so.
That would be nice, but you know, it's. I mean, I'm
but
30.
It's healthy to talk about.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's cool to talk about. It's definitely a topic.
Make you think. Get up.
Makes you think.
Outside the box.
Right. Remember that God also created science.
Oh yeah.
Because He gave us the brains to do so. Because science, in my opinion, is a way of us honoring God's creations.
Right.
So, when you tie it back all in together, that, sometimes it's really powerful to just say, I don't know.
Yes.
Because it lowers the boundaries and it opens your possibilities to so many other things. As long as you've got your feet in the ground as far as what you want to believe in, but you're willing to stretch out your arms and be a little more open to other ideas and opinions, I think that grounding and that stretching is what's going to raise us up.
Yeah.
just eyes on the sky.
Yeah, there you go.
Sure.
Do you have any crazy stories? Have you ever had an encounter where you saw a UAP or anything?
Well, I think.
Since being an adult.
Well, yeah.
Because I remember you saying growing up, you saying stuff in the sky.
Yeah, we would. My mom especially. I came home one night after a long day at college, and my uncle was there, and my mom and uncle were totally freaked out because they saw these 3 lights just hovering over right over the hills of West Hills, and they just hovered there for the longest time. And I remember her telling me they would like shoot up and then they'd shoot right back down again. Okay, this is early 80s. There were no drones or anything like that. But there was just the stories that I hear from people, and I don't mean just like the Chris Bledsoes. Chris Bledsoe wrote UFO of God. He is a devout Christian, and he's very connected with UAP and non-human intelligence, and not just from him, not just from Whitley Strieber, who wrote Communion. These 2 gentlemen are friends of mine, and they have very compelling personal stories, but also the stories from just everyday people, some of whom reacted fearfully, of course, and some had these awe-inspiring encounters. I've not had that kind of encounter myself. I've seen things in the sky. My husband and I were standing outside in our driveway, and we saw a star just turn on and start moving across really fast, and then it just turned. It made this little mini tiny left move, and then it just shut off. And so Travis Taylor, do you know Dr. Travis Taylor? He's on Skinwalker Ranch.
Oh, well, I do know about Skinwalker Ranch.
Yes, he's one of the hosts. He was in our home about 2 weeks ago.
Oh, wow.
And I cornered him and said, okay, what was that thing?
Yeah.
And he said, well, talks in this accent. Well, it's probably satellite, but, I don't know. Just when I told him what time of night I saw it, and the fact that there would be no possible way at that time of night that the sun could have reflected off a satellite that brightly, he realized, oh, okay, yeah, you may have seen something a little more unique, exotic, as the scientists call it. The scientists, when they're describing a piece of craft or something that is not at all man-made, they call it exotic.
Well, I got something to put on to that. I mean,
okay, do that.
A few times driving back from Nashville on 65, coming back from security, some nights it'd be 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, no cars really on the road. And I know driving, I saw this green light, bright green light.
Wow.
It's real bright, and it just came down real fast to Earth. And then, you think about when they hit the atmosphere, it goes away. But it seemed like it was inside, it was closer than what you thought it was.
Wow.
And it came down and just disappeared.
Just disappeared.
Yeah, and I think I've seen that twice in the past maybe 5 or 6 years.
But it came straight down.
Well, it kind of like went sideways and then went down, straight down.
So it came in sideways and then went straight down.
Yeah, I mean.
Did it actually make a turn?
I feel like it did, yeah.
Oh, see, that's physics defying. So that would categorize as a UAP.
I mean, that's just real, no lie.
Wow.
That's twice I've seen it.
Twice.
And I remember exactly. I was like, okay, now that wasn't no plane, wasn't no helicopter. It was going too fast.
Did it have a tail?
I don't think so, no.
Okay, see, that's not a meteor. And so how did you feel when you saw that? Your psychological component is very important to this.
Well, my first thing, my mom get off that time of night because she worked night shift. Well, third shift or second shift. But anyways, I called her. I said, Mom, did you see that? Because she usually on interstate same time I am. And she's like, what? And I was like, I told her about it. One time I told her about it. She didn't see it. But another time when I saw it, she saw the same thing I saw.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, I didn't know what to think. I was just like,
did you see
in your mind, you don't want to say that was an alien, but then again, you think back, it could have been one.
Did you see it in the same place?
Just going down 65 South. Yeah, I seen it in front of me, more in front of me, not behind me or the sides, just in front of me, looking out through the windshield.
So that was, it was too consistent of a geospatial area, and it was right around the same time of night.
Oh yeah, it was early in the morning.
So you have a temporal consistency there as well. And those are two factors that they look at to see if something is actually a UAP. Yeah. So you've got geospatial, you've got temporal, especially the physics-defying movement that it made. It would have been really cool if you saw it shot back up in the air.
That's what I was looking for.
Yeah,
I was
that'd be
like,
cool.
Just drive, waiting. You know, you just look at it pointing in your windshield. You just keep waiting. But nah, never saw
the
it
anti-gravitational component is.
But that was
is
twice
really
in at least 5 years of me driving.
That's so
on
cool.
65, yeah.
How about you, Mike? Anything?
No, not really. Not that I can think of.
Never woke up with weird marks on you or anything like that?
Oh, God, no.
For his kids, probably.
No.
I don't want to hear about that frat night. You know, I don't wanna know.
No. All right, so we know where you're at on the belief, but let's talk about the U.S. government. I'm just going to start with the big thing that most everybody knows about, Area 51. Do you think there's actual aliens and spaceships in a bunker down there?
I personally do. That is 50-50 out there amongst the UFO experts. But I do believe that if they're not there now, that there was something there before that dealt with all the secrecy. It also goes down so many stories and levels. There's so much more to that place than meets the eye. So that is definitely a compound. It is so highly protected. It's still in the game. But there's other places across the United States, different Air Force bases as well, that definitely are holding something.
What about Bob Lazar? His story?
I think he's credible.
Steve?
I got a good vibe on him. I like what people say about him.
Yeah.
There's a few people that are in the UAP world that people are pretty iffy about, but no, Bob they like. He's solid. Yeah.
I would think he was a Joe Rogan. I think he was on the one I watched with him on it.
Yeah.
And it was a good one. And I mean, listening to him, you can't argue with him. Like he's confident in what he's talking about.
Yeah, and he's not out there sensationalizing.
Right.
And he's not trying to make money.
No.
So so he's a whole different ballpark in and of himself. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So why do you think that the government would want to keep secrets about the extraterrestrials, aliens, UFOs, etc.?
Well, this started in the early 40s, before Roswell, 1943 actually. There were sightings. And then eventually, at the time, there was a military fear that these were Soviet craft.
Okay.
So they didn't want that out to the public because the public would have been terrified.
Oh, yeah.
Thinking that the Soviets had better technology that potentially could be more dangerous than what we had. So everything went underground at that moment, and it has never come back out.
Yeah.
So not only now, fast forward to 2026, you've got so many departments within the government who are working on this. All the 3-letter agencies, Department of Agriculture, Department of Energy, every single one of them. But they're all working on a small little part of it.
Yeah.
And none of them know what the other one is doing. So they're not only keeping it a secret from us, but whoever the powers that be are keeping it from other factions of the government within itself.
Yeah.
That's how deep this cover-up is. But why? Okay, we understand why originally it was a cover-up. But now I think that they keep saying, it's because America can't handle it. Humankind can't handle the truth. The truth of the matter is the government can't handle for America to know the truth.
Yep, I believe
because
that too.
that will open up so many cans of worms.
Oh, yeah.
Why was there a secret here? Why was there a secret there? Why didn't that happen? Why didn't that happen? So I'm not really sure we'll ever know everything because as long as all those people are still alive.
Right. And it's funny, the guy, my buddy, that's the Bigfoot guy we had last week, he told some stories about a hunter that had shot one.
Wow.
And there was another Bigfoot that was screaming at him, ran down there, grabbed what they thought was the female, probably the mate, throws this female over his shoulder and takes off running, disappears up a ridge.
He saw that.
No, it was a hunter.
Oh, okay.
He was just telling us the story.
Wow.
Yeah, it wasn't him. But he had heard the story because my question was, with all the rednecks, in America, why isn't there a dead Bigfoot?
Yeah. Right.
So he was telling the story, and to go on what we were talking about, he was saying that within an hour after he had called the game warden, there was a blood trail. The game warden had got the blood of the alleged Bigfoot or whatever and made a phone call. Within an hour of him getting home, there was an unmarked black SUV in his driveway. And supposedly it was two government officials. One was in a suit and one was dressed as a biker dude. And basically they interrogated him and said, "You're to tell no one that this never happened. And if you do, we're going to bring you up on charges and make your life terrible." Wow. So he waited several years and then came out with it later on. Now,
under a different name.
Under a different name, but I don't know if there's truth to it or not, but the government showed up. And that's not the first story from a witness or somebody where the government showed up, according to him.
Wow, that's intense. I've heard a couple different theories on that. Just within inner circles, some people believe that they are actually an extraterrestrial civilization. But then there's another faction that believes that the reason for the secrecy of Bigfoot is because it's a way of protecting that species.
Right.
And what if authorities came out and said, yes, they actually exist? Then you're going to have every hunter on Earth out there trying to kill them. So I've heard that as well. But I don't know much about that phenomena, but it's really fascinating.
Oh yeah, I learned a lot just listening to him talk.
Wow.
Oh yeah, we did.
That's amazing.
About stuff I didn't know about Bigfoot.
I want to go back on the FBI thing. I just remember growing up in the 90s and early 2000s. You always saw when you put a VHS in, FBI warning, it'll pop up.
Right.
And I always say, all right, obviously something in the movie world that had to be, you can't be too touchy because you don't want everybody to know. So the government had to tell them like, hey, you can talk about aliens, but don't do too much. And that's why I feel like that's why they had a warning up all the time.
Yeah.
Remember on the VHS you put it in and it said FBI warning or something. Don't everything in the movie ain't true or something.
Yeah, they do have that, and I think that's part of also the FCC rules as well. But it's largely the Department of Defense that will tell these whistleblowers, all right, you can talk, but you can't say this or you can't say that. There's certain classified situations and top secret situations that you can't. But so much of the phenomena is being discussed within special access programs with, you brought up FBI and CIA and DOD, now Department of War. There's the special access programs have such higher clearance than top secret or classified they're super, super sensitive. So nobody touches those. And nobody, a lot of times you can have one SAP over here and another SAP over here, special access program. They don't even know about each other.
Right.
So it's all so minutely controlled.
Mm-hmm. Do people like yourself and like other people who speak at conferences, do y'all get monitored?
No, I've never been. I think many are. Actually, you know what? Shoot, I don't know. Yeah. I hope not.
They probably wouldn't tell her. They probably wouldn't tell her that they're there.
Yeah, probably not.
I don't have a lot of fear, so I'm not really worried about that. My second cousin was Mario Puzo, who wrote The Godfather.
Oh, wow. Really?
So I've got that side. And then I have another relative who started the IRA, the Irish Republican Army. He conceived the whole thing, stood on the soapboxes and everything else. So fear kind of missed me as far as my DNA goes. But I really wouldn't like it if somebody knocked on my front door. I think I'd be a little afraid of that.
Yeah,
I'm just going to keep talking until they do, though.
Yeah.
So what's the craziest, I guess, story you've heard from a whistleblower or something that was found to be more than likely factual? Do you have a story about that?
Yes, one that kind of touches my heart. We spent a few years in Santa Maria, California when I was very, very little. Very agricultural at the time. And Vandenberg Air Force Base is right there. And my mom worked there at the hotel that was affiliated. And so that place has special memories to me. And back about a year ago, I met Jeff Nusatelli, who was one of the whistleblowers. He was a military policeman, and he was speaking at a conference I went to in Italy. And he told his story about, they call it the Red Square incident. And there were some military police that were out there, and all of a sudden a giant red square as big as a football field started hovering above the base. And he didn't see that one, but he drove up right afterwards, and he was like their supervisor. So he took all of the reports, and he kept everything. And then there were other sightings, and then he had his personal sightings in his backyard. So there was this almost like swarm event over a few month period. And he unknowingly, to some supervisors, took a lot of these notes and kept a lot of these stories. Yeah. And then finally he was able to tell those stories to Congress when Congress said, this is the House Oversight Committee. You've got to tell us these stories. And so he went and told them. But a red square over a base that was seen by several very competent, highly regarded military police. Now that's a story.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was interesting to me.
I think it was like a target.
Yeah.
Kind of scary.
I'd never asked him if it was translucent or if it was like, 3D or what it was. Actually, I need to ask him that, but it was fascinating and frightening for him because he did have people knock on his door.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why he's pushing for whistleblower protection, as are many.
Mm-hmm. I mean, rightfully so. Talking about military personnel, I don't remember all the specifics. A buddy of mine had a friend who was in the Navy, and they were out on sea. And I forget what the whole background of the story was, but at a certain time during this day, they had set an alarm where everybody had to go into their cabin. Like there could be nobody on the deck.
Really?
Well, this is the story. And he, the friend had decided to go get something or whatever, but he walked out to where he could see out from the ship.
Wow.
And when he walked out there, he saw a hovercraft or a spaceship that was zooming back and forth.
Wow.
And he said, like, to this day, like, it's not terrified him, but he's like, that's why they wanted everybody in their cabin. Now,
So they knew about it.
right, it was on the ship.
Oh, my goodness.
It was on the ship. That's why everybody had to go in their cabin, so that I guess they could test fly it. I don't know. And I don't know the truth, and I don't know. I remember all the details, but I remember that story. I mean, he was a military man.
And why would he lie about that?
Yeah. I mean, everybody would think you were crazy, but he swears up and down. He walked out there and he saw it. It was hovering over the water, and they flew it for about 15 minutes, and then they set the alarm where everybody could come out, and it was gone.
So was it a UAP? Was it man-made, or was it man-made using the inspiration from a UAP?
That's confusing. A lot of letters. But, he said it was not man-made. It was.
Wow.
It was what you would think of a UFO, like a saucer.
Yeah.
Deal, if I remember correctly.
And we don't have that technology. Not that physics defying.
No, I mean, blink of an eye, it would just go one direction or the other. I don't know who was flying it, but
it almost make you think that like they knew about it, of course, and maybe they was like, all right, you've been doing this for a while, and now we kind of like, all right, we scared, but we're gonna let you do your thing.
Yeah.
And then when you gone, we back doing what we're supposed to do.
And then yet there's people who find a craft and they actually walk on it. That's been done. What's really interesting, guys, is that these craft retrieval programs, and there's not one, there's a few, and they're spread out all over the place, and they probably don't know about each other either. But when they go on these craft, they don't see a propulsion system. They're like, there is none. And they don't see a control board. And yet they have indicated that they are mind controlled. They're controlled telepathically.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That's crazy.
That's a whole different.
That's
nothing a human being can.
Oh,
we're not there yet.
No, we're not there.
Yeah.
No, even though my husband seems to know what I'm thinking.
That's called learned behavior.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, I've learned that a little bit. My wife's really good at it too. So I know it's a movie, but Independence Day with Will Smith.
Oh, love that movie.
It's a good one. I mean, do you think that watching that movie and they got some things right in it?
Okay, so that was Will Smith, and then they had the pilot go up and destroy it because they were trying to destroy.
They were trying to destroy Earth, yeah. But I'm talking about where they flew the spaceship.
Yeah.
When they stole one of them. And flew it around, killing others.
Right. The government had it because it crashed, and they retrieved the alien or whatever.
I'm not so sure that we've gotten that far. We don't know what the metals are yet. We don't know what the propulsion is yet. So if we don't understand those two basic fundamentals, I'm not sure we're going to be able to fly it yet. So there's this deep, deep rumor that there are these helmets that supposedly control an alien craft. And they're trying to get psychics and even children to wear the helmet to control the craft. I don't remember where I heard that, but I've got to delve into that side of things. But wow, we're really getting out there tonight, aren't we? Yeah, I just want to talk about the cheeseburgers down the road.
Now, what was the latest one you heard? Of the one where I can't think of his name, but he was a young guy. He was in the government. He wasn't military, but he was like something.
David Grush?
Was that the younger guy?
He was, tall, 40s maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's David Grush. So back in 2023, Leslie Kane and Ralph Blumenthal wrote an article, and they interviewed David Grush. And David Grush was working in the government, and he was the liaison between the government and what was known as the UAP task force.
Okay.
This task force was exceptional. There were very high clearances, highly talented, very educated people. Dr. Eric Davis, Sarah Gam was on there, Dr. Travis Taylor was on there, amongst many others. So he was the liaison. So between what he was learning through different government agencies and some of what he learned through the UAP task force, he learned about these crash retrievals, and he learned about the biologics that he called them, which were the alien bodies, whether they were alive or dead. They're called biologics. It is said that we have one that is living right now, that we are still learning some communication with.
Like an actual alien.
Yeah. It sounds so weird to say that out loud, but I actually just recently heard that from somebody that's highly credible. So David Grush came out, and he has just been on the front of this thing. He spoke in front of Congress, and he was actually just speaking yesterday. Did you see that press conference?
I didn't see that one, but the one when he was in front of Congress, I remember that one.
Oh, yeah. And he came out yesterday, and he stood there, and he said, we have got to release more files, but we've got to release more of the evidence and not just lights in the sky. Because a lot of the stuff, honestly, that the Pentagon just released, some of that has already been debunked by the government. So why the Pentagon's releasing that, I'm not really sure. It's just a lot of misinformation. They just like to muddy the waters, and they're showing a lot of things that just don't really matter. There's a lot deeper data that is available that has been given to government agencies that they're not releasing, and hopefully they will at some point. But he was pushing for that, and he was also really pushing for the whistleblower protection, because so many of these guys, like Jeff Nusatelli that I just mentioned, Ryan Graves, etc., Dylan Borland, I mean, these guys, they're in the military or the Air Force or whatever, and they might lose their credibility, they might lose their job, they'll lose their paycheck, they'll lose their respect.
Right.
They're having a tough time, and if we could get some whistleblowers, more whistleblower protection, the better for them and the better for science in the end, right?
Oh, yeah, I agree. I think a lot of it's fear.
Yeah.
The government's in fear that a higher power than them.
Yeah, absolutely. And fear is very controlling.
Yep.
It is.
That's why we see it in so much media. Thank you guys for not being sensationalist and fear-based. I appreciate that. You know, in Los Angeles, my dad was in the entertainment industry, and I learned, sex definitely sells, but fear sells more.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
So kudos to you both.
For sure.
I think the main reason we getting this show out is because I don't think people realize that the world, we have a space, what they call the people that I can't think what it's called. It's kind of like a military, but they do just a space.
Oh, space
for the Earth.
Yeah.
To make sure nothing comes in like that's dangerous or anything.
It's about Space Force?
Yeah, Space Force.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know how.
There's a reason
legit
we,
it is,
we
but-
got it.
Yeah.
Because obviously there's something out there and people
I
don't
thought
realize
that too.
it.
I thought when Trump started that, I know that they said it was for, well, satellites and
Going to the moon.
yeah, all that stuff. But it was all setting us up for what we've got coming down the
it's
road.
more,
Yeah.
it's more to it.
Yeah, I think so. I'm with
This
you
is
on
off
that one.
topic, but do you think we landed on the moon?
Well,
I mean, we kind of talked about it, but is
Growing
it,
up in LA.
I personally do think we landed on the
Okay.
moon, but boy, there's some
there's
compelling
some questions, yeah.
Whoa, the moon ringing
Yeah.
and the background and yeah.
My favorite
lot of
one, and
crazy-
I don't know if it's AI or not because AI is ridiculous, but the footprint on the moon.
Yeah.
And then when you see the outfit he wore in the museum,
Right.
the sole of the shoe is not the footprint.
Oh, that's right.
the-
Right,
on
because
the
it
picture.
outfit covered it. That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Did you see the one picture? I think the Pentagon just released it. I think it was Apollo 13 or 18, maybe it was 17, where the 3 lights were in the sky and they could actually see the lights in the sky above the moon and it was a UFO. It was a UAP.
That's just the ones that just came back.
Yeah, it was one of the ones that just came out.
Yeah,
No, yeah, the 3
Well,
lights. They're just sitting there hovering.
Well, the ones that just came back from the orbit around the moon,
Right.
like I watched some videos about them talking about if you didn't believe in God, you would after that.
Oh, wow.
And the things that they saw, but you can't really. I guess they can't release them. I don't know, but ain't no telling what they saw up there.
Yeah.
Oh, what a trip!
I mean, y'all
Beautiful.
talk about the things in the sky. I know it's weird, but when you look at the stars, and sometimes they just keep blinking.
Yeah.
They're
And
on
they say
fire.
they say that, but
Yeah.
do they really know? It could be something up there just
That's
don't,
true. Yeah.
I mean, it's so many possible ways to look at it, but
There really is. A lot of it is atmospheric. But there's so many different what do they say? There's the 5 observables, they call it. If you really want to know if it's a UAP, if it's physics defying, if it's anti-gravity, if it accelerates fast, there's all these different components. And then they created back about several years ago, it was Jacques Vallée and Eric Davis, they created the 6-layer protocol, which was, do you see physical ramifications? Like, do you see radiation burns in the ground, or were you able to capture it? And then there's the anti-physical, which is basically the anti-gravity or the the crazy movements. And then there's the psychological. How did it affect you psychologically? And then physiological, which is why I asked you about any markings, because were you left with any markings? Do you feel like you physically levitated or went somewhere else? And what was going on culturally at the time? There are, in parapsychology, in the study of the paranormal, there are, we talked about geospatial, and there's cultural, and there's temporal, where a lot of paranormal events, like a poltergeist or a lot of demonic activity or something like that, may be occurring in a specific, in a like area, a similar area or a similar time frame, or during high social tensions or high family tensions, or whatever the case may be. Sometimes that's the case with a UAP sighting as well. Is there's something going on Earth that's creating a high level of tension. Did you ever hear the story about Bob Salas, who in the 60s, he was working for the Army, and he was way underground, like stories underground, with several nuclear weapons. And they went to test them, and I think they just have to turn them on and then shut them off. It's just a regular test. Now, way up on the ground, stories above, there are Army guys, and they start seeing UAP flying around. And they're just all over the place. Well, Bob downstairs, way underground, all of a sudden the nukes went on and they went off by themselves.
oh wow.
I'd have been out.
Completely by themselves. And it happened a couple times. And that just tells you, okay, they're not trying to blow us up, but they certainly have control of a few things and are trying to tell us, please don't blow yourselves up.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
No, I hadn't heard that story. That's
Yeah, Bob
insane.
Salas. He's really good. If he's out in California, I don't know if he'd fly out to Columbia, but
No, probably not.
you might get him on the phone or something.
Oh yeah, that would be pretty neat.
Yeah.
I don't think I would be testing the nukes anymore, which I wouldn't want
No.
that job anyway.
No.
One wrong button, be over real quick. So we kind of are touched on the UFO files that they released, but what do you think the purpose behind them doing that is? Just because they were pushing for it, or they're just trying to appease these people, or do you think there's some other agenda behind it?
I think there's a few agendas. Number one, President Trump came through on his promise. He said he would release things. He released things, and they're still releasing them.
Right.
Okay. So you've got that. So secondly, it's to not just appease the president, it's to just satiate the public, this big demand, especially through Congress. You've got Congressman Burleson and Congressman Burchett and several others who are really, really pushing for this. Mace as well. And there's an appeasement part of it. It's also a really super smart way to test the waters with the American public. Let's just throw a few out there and see how people react.
Right.
Well, we're certainly not reacting in fear. We're reacting in we need more. And you don't see people, running to church or running to pray or buying tinfoil hats. We're not scared. We just want to know about our reality. This is the biggest conversation in the entire world in all of history. This is finding the missing element to our reality. We certainly have a right to know, and we are certainly ready to know.
I agree with that, and I think the American people, we're not scared, but we're always going to want more information.
Yeah.
They could probably
They're
give it
gonna
us.
tell us so much.
They could tell us everything and be like, "Nah, you should know something."
Yeah.
We're always going to believe there's more to understand.
Yeah, one cookie's never enough. You need the dozen. Yeah.
All right, so I got a tough question, and this is where we'll start to kind of wrap it up. And I'm asking you this because I grew up in church. You grew up in church, and I've never had anybody I could really ask this question to till now. But if we believe in the, obviously there's science and evidence backing possibility of other life forms. Okay, when Jesus was here on Earth, why didn't he talk about it, or did he, or why wasn't it a topic then? Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I know we have like the, he said there would be no other gods before him. He's supreme,
Right.
but there's no mention of this by Jesus.
Right.
Why do you think that is, if it is real?
He does allude to other spirits in other dimensions, though. He does allude in the Bible to other. I don't know I don't remember the verse. I remember talking to somebody about it, and also remember that UAP as a history has come in and out of history. So they were here 10,000 years ago per cave drawings and ancient writings,
Right.
and so they kind of come in and out of our history. So I mean, who's to say whether or not they were here in our history at that time?
Okay.
Then you look at the story of Jonah and the whale. It is a beautiful story, and every pastor will tell you that it's most likely, many pastors will tell you it's most likely a parable. But it's a story that has very similar construct in other civilizations and in other religions. So what was Jonah and the whale? All right, so you've got this guy who's out there fishing, and then something comes up and swallows him, and he can see out the eyes, right? There was that part in the Bible that it talked about it. What were those? Were those portals? Was that a whale? Was that something else? Was that a USO, an unidentified submerged object, which is what they call a UAP in the ocean?
Okay.
What was that? So there's that. And did we put that story in a religious framework in order to better understand that? The message is the same,
Right.
whether or not that we have a second chance and to make this life better than how we had it. And here whether it's a UFO or not, Jonah came out a transcended person. You know, you've got Ezekiel's wheels, and there's so many stories in the Bible that you can easily put in a different framework.
Sure.
So as far as whether or not why Jesus didn't talk about it, I'm not sure he didn't. I would like to study that more, though.
Well, I know that was a kind of a tough question and kind of
why did
broad.
I get the tough questions?
Well, you're the expert, so
Yeah, you're the expert.
I can't ask him too many questions. Well, I mean, I understand that, and I guess, you know, we may not ever know, but until we meet him face to face,
Yeah.
you know, I doubt my first question would be, you know, is this real? I just wanted to hear your opinion on it and kind of what you thought about that, because I've been asked that before.
Let me tell you, I'm wide open as far as ideas. I'm the first to tell you when I don't know something.
Wow.
But I am excited to find out at some point, too.
Oh, yeah, that would be interesting. Kenneth, do you have anything else?
Well, I wanted to ask you, I want to see, probably of your study and research, the more the UFOs, is it more you see on the West Coast, East Coast, or is it just whatever?
Location.
Like, what's the stats on that? Like, where do you usually see it?
There's some hot spots for sure. West Coast, Washington, Colorado, the Northeast, believe it or not. And just in Tennessee, there are some really big hot spots. Nashville is like one of the top ones.
Really? I never heard that.
Yeah. Franklin,
Wow.
Jackson, Johnson City. Those are some of the hot spot areas. And when you look at is it the 33rd meridian going right across the country?
Yeah, I think that's right.
That seems to be, they call it the UFO highway.
Yeah,
There's a
I've
lot
heard
of
that.
UFOs too. And of course, New Mexico, that whole area is magical for UFOs. I hate to use the word magic because I don't want to confuse it.
Right.
But yeah.
Well, go ahead.
Well, why is it? Why is those the hot spots, you think?
It could have something to do with just the magnetic pulls of the earth.
Oh, okay.
You know, where what they can see that we cannot.
Mm-hmm.
It could be old installations. Maybe they're going, like, for instance, they've been seen multiple times. And the first time I think was with Kenneth Arnold back in the early 40s. He was a pilot and he saw them coming out of Mount Rainier. They were coming in and out of the mountain itself.
Wow.
Yeah, so it just depends on where they're based, I guess.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
So you said where they're based. Do you think that they're living on the earth? Or
Yeah,
within the earth?
I do think that there's some spots on the earth where because of the frequency of how often they are seen there.
Okay.
But most importantly, only 20 or 30% are actually seen on land or coming out of land. More like 60 or 70% are coming out of the oceans, which it makes perfect sense because the earth is mostly ocean.
Right.
So that's where they're really based. And their technology is amazing. Have you ever heard of laminar technology? So like a whale or a dolphin has that skin that can go really quick into the ocean and not break a wave and then continue on at the same speed that it was in the air. So that's what this technology is doing. So it's laminar. And it goes in the ocean, it travels for a long distance at the same exact speed, even though it's got the drag of the ocean, it's still going fast, and then it pops back up. That's what so many of these Navy guys have seen, laminar technology.
Well, that's why I don't go any deeper than my knees in the ocean.
No, there's good fishing just at the knee level.
Right.
You're good right there.
I got one more question for you.
All right, Kenneth, I'm ready.
Are you scared of aliens?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. Now, that being said,
If you've seen one.
if I saw a 6-foot mantis or whatever they call them standing in front of me, I would be the first to run. But no, I'm not ready. I'm not really. I'm very ready to see whatever they are. I think we've all seen enough scary movies to have an idea of what was to come. And my goodness, I mean, if I saw an octopus, I think I'd be scared. Yeah. Right? Going back to that, I mean, anytime you see something that's not usual, but eventually it'll be usual. So it's okay.
And I know real quickly, because I keep thinking of good questions, talking about the ocean, right? Do we even explore the ocean anymore?
Oh, we do. Yeah.
Like the government was? Or?
Yeah, and NOAA, NOAA, no,
Yeah, that's right.
yeah. What does that stand for?
North, I don't know.
Oceanic Atmospheric Association. Yeah. They're constantly studying the ocean.
How do you know kind of what's our deepest depth? Or do you know that? I mean, I didn't know.
I don't know that.
I'd be curious to
there's
find out.
that plateau right off of San Diego, right near Catalina Island. Okay, Catalina Island in California. That's a huge hot spot, by the way. That's, by the way, to going back to your point, Kenneth. But yeah, they're studying all the time. They're always out there.
I mean, I'm terrified of the ocean.
Yeah.
I go on cruises and stuff, and I'm safe.
Yeah.
But I mean, when, like going out on the balcony in the cruise, it's dark.
Yeah.
I'm going on my first cruise in about 3 weeks, and I'm nervous.
so
Well, you're just going to have to sit
exciting.
out there at night.
I like to see land, but knowing that you can't see land is kind of creeping
Well,
me out.
I hope you see a UFO.
I don't
As long as it leaves the ship alone, we'll be all right.
Yeah.
Bring your camera. Bring your phone.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
See, that would be cool. Like, I love like looking up at the sky, like when it's pitch black dark
Yeah.
and the stars.
Yeah.
Of course, I grew up in the woods, in Alabama, so there was always tons of stars. Never in the big city, but if you go, Kenneth, just take an hour or two and just look up at the sky.
Yeah.
will.
And then go back to the buffet.
Yeah,
There you go.
Yeah. That's where the good stuff
Oh,
is.
I love going on a cruise. So well, Lisa, thank you so much
Thank
for being here
you.
tonight. It's super fun.
Yeah,
Do you have
thank you.
anything or questions or anything you want to put out there about aliens or?
I'm just going to go back to what I said. Stay grounded in what you believe in.
Right.
And allow yourself to believe what you want to believe, and go from the heart, go with the gut. Keep your feet in the ground, but don't be afraid to keep your arms open and be open and willing to listen to evidence, to stories, to science. That's why God gave us a gut.
Yeah.
Follow that, trust it, and then just keep eyes on the sky, keep going forward.
Yep, I agree. How can people that watch this reach you or look up stuff you got?
Oh, absolutely. I have a website. It is Lisa Puzo Strickland, PhD.com. And I am on Facebook as well, Lisa Puzo Strickland, PhD. Easy to find, easy to email. I love to hear from people, and I always get back to people.
Yep. You got back to me, so I
I
appreciate
did.
that.
That's right.
Yeah, that's
I'm so
great.
glad I did.
Well, thank you so much. We truly appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
thank you.
Thank you. You two are a real pleasure, and you're doing some great work here. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Hopefully you made it to the end of the show. Check out Lisa's stuff. She's got some great interviews that I've watched as well with other people. We didn't get a definite answer of whether it's real or not, but I'm tending to lead towards more that it may be. There's a
It is.
high possibility. So
It is, Mike.
It is. Very real.
check out the information. We hope y'all have a good night. Remember to like, share, and comment, and get this video out there. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.